Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about some new NARS stuff. This is the NARS Atomic Blonde palette. I purchased this off of Sephora, and I was also invited to the NARS Fall Collection release party that the NARS boutique over at Caesars was having. So they released some new, I think, eyebrow products. They had a whole lip palette, and then they had 2 eyeshadow quads. I actually passed on everything, and I was actually there with Risa of Risa Does Makeup, and we were looking at the quads, and we both had the same thought that it really looked very reminiscent of the Wanted palette. So we both had the Wanted palette, so I think both of us also passed on that. But we did decide to get some of the full lip. Actually, let me get this out of the bag. So we went to this little NARS party. It was, I believe, the Friday before I left for my trip to Portland, Maine, and it's been sitting in the bag ever since. So I kind of forgot what I got. So I got, oh, that's right. I got 2 of the full vinyl lip lacquers. We both picked up at first sight, and I think Risa's already talked about it on her channel. It's just this really great kind of gold sparkly lip color. And then I also picked up Everglades, which is like a black lip gloss. I was really psyched about that. So I think I'm going to put that on today just to play around. And then they also came out with this Atomic Blonde palette, like I just mentioned. I purchased this off of Sephora, and this is a Sephora exclusive. So this was not at the NARS boutique. It was not available for us to purchase there. And this was what I was kind of most excited for. So if you're interested in seeing me apply all these things to my face, then just keep on watching. So this palette just came in the mail for me, so I haven't even opened it up. It is limited edition. I believe 4 out of the 6 products in here are limited edition to this palette. Gosh, their packaging is so beautiful. Look at that case. And I'm just gonna open it up here. This is so pretty. So there are 4 eyeshadows across the top, and then there are 2 cheek products. This is a highlight. Here is a contour. So these 2 products, I believe, are limited edition to this palette. This eyeshadow and this eyeshadow are unique and limited edition to this palette, but I think this color and this color are not. I think you can find them as part of the NARS regular line, maybe in their eyeshadow duos. So this one is called Icon, Isolde 2, Kink, and Galapagos. I think I even recognize those 2 names, the Isolde 2 and Galapagos. And then this one is called Last Call, and this one is called Unleashed. So let me go ahead and give you some swatches here. Ooh, they feel really, really creamy. So here are the 4 eyeshadows. And here are some swatches. Now this is like a warm neutrals palette I can really get down with. All the shades, as you can tell, are shimmery or shiny in some way. There are no matte eyeshadows, but from the looks of the highlight and the bronze looks like it's matte, and you could probably use that as an eyeshadow as well. So let me go ahead and swatch the highlight and bronze. I should wipe my fingers off. All right, so let's do some swatches of the highlight and the contour bronze here. So there's the highlight, there's the bronze, obviously. Here's the highlight, and here's the bronze. The bronze contour color does not look quite as deep in the swatch as it does in the pan. In the pan, this looks really, really deep. So I think this should work for my skin tone if I use like a really light hand. Let's hope. So I've already put down some foundation, some powder. I've done my eyebrows. I haven't done anything else. So I wanted to go straight in with the bronzer and then use the highlight and then maybe decide what kind of blush I wanted to use. All right, I'm going to use my Tom Ford bronzer brush. It's the most fluffy, so I feel like I'll get a nice diffused application for this bronzer, which I'm afraid will be too dark. So I'm just pouncing it a couple times in here. I'm going to dust off any excess. Ooh, that is dark. And start underneath my cheekbone here, very lightly. Ooh. Oh, how pretty. I really like the undertone of this. It has more of like a red kind of warm undertone. It's not very orangey yellow. It's definitely a little bit more red, which I like. Well, that's really pretty, and it definitely is very, very pigmented. I picked up very, very little, and it went a long way. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up just a little bit more, dust off the excess, and warm up my forehead here. I like when bronzers have this kind of red tone to them because I feel like if I don't feel like putting a blush on, this kind of does both. You know, it's not too cool. Like if you just use like a contour or whatever, you definitely need to kind of like warm up your cheeks or whatever. But this looks really nice. Looks very, very warm, and I feel like I look very healthy already. All right, that's pretty. And then let's try this highlighter. Again, this is called Last Call, and I'm gonna go ahead and use my Sonia G Sculpt 2 brush and go right into this Last Call. So neither of these powders are very powdery. As you can see, there's not a lot of kick up, which is really nice, but picked up really easily. Oh, how pretty. You know what this highlighter reminds me of? It reminds me of the little highlighter strip in the Chantecaille Positano duo. I forget what it's called. I think La Serena is the name of that highlighter bronzer duo in the Chantecaille limited edition summer collection. It has the same kind of like really creamy color. So it's not very golden per se, but it's very, very peach. I don't know. It's just a really kind of like French vanilla kind of creamy tone. And it's really pretty. You know, it's a little bit more of like a subtle highlight. This is not something that's going to make you look like you are super glowing. Let me see if I can build it up a little bit here. Yeah, it looks like it's buildable. So if you do want to glow, super glow, you can just add a little bit more on. I'm just kind of working it into the skin. And I want to say this formula of the highlighter is different from their new highlighting powders. Doesn't feel the same. This feels like a more traditional kind of like powder, pressed powder product, where those feel like maybe they're baked in some way. They feel very, very hard pressed in the pan, even though you can pick up a lot of product. This does not feel quite as like hard. It also doesn't feel quite as mysterious, like I can't figure out what it is. This really just kind of feels like a pressed powder. So very, very nice. Really nice and glowy. It's not glittery at all. There aren't any like particles. It's not chunky in any way. It's really pretty. It's very, very smooth looking. I'm going to try and create an eye look. I think if you really need a matte color in your eye look, this may not work for you, but we can try using this bronzer color as like a transition shade, because I do think it's a little bit lighter than it appears in the pan. So we shall see. And this bronzer is, I don't want to say it's fully matte either. It's more of like a demi matte. It has like a little bit of a sheen there, but it's definitely not as shimmery and shiny or even glittery as this one. All right, so I'm grabbing my Tom Ford blender brush. I'm gonna go into this bronzer shade here very, very lightly. I'm gonna just place some on the outer edge here and bring that in through my socket line. I think here you can probably see the red undertone better than on my cheek, but it looks like a really, really reddish brown there. Okay, not bad for like a transition kind of shade, or a shade to kind of start with. Cheek products in general aren't quite as pigmented as eyeshadow, it's just not as concentrated. So it'll probably take a little building up if you want something a little bit more deep. But that's a pretty good starting point for me. I'm gonna go into this shade here. This is the Isolde 2 color. And I'm just gonna use the same brush here and just put this a little lower and along the outer edge here as well. That is such a pretty coppery shade. And again, I'm not getting a lot of kick up in that shadow pan, so that is nice. And I'm also not seeing any fallout, which is really great. I'm going to take a flatter kind of shader brush here, and I'm going to go into this first color here called Icon, and I'm going to focus that on the inside portion of my lid, or inner portion of my lid. Let me see if I can focus that on my inner corner here. I'm going to go back to this bronze color and just tap off any excess and just blend out the top portion here. And then I'm going to take this Esom W36 brush. This is the one that has that cool shape to it. It's kind of like leaning back. And I'm going to go into the darkest color over here called Galapagos. And I'm just going to press that onto my outer V here just to deepen it up a little. Just give a little extra dimension on that outer corner there. And then I'm going to take this small Coyuto White Canadian Squirrel Hair brush. It's like a really teeny tiny like flat shader brush, but I love using this to line my eyes. So I'm going to go into that Galapagos color again, the really dark one over here, and just line my upper and lower lash line. Alright, so I'm just going to curl my eyelashes, apply some mascara, and I'll be right back to put on those 2 lip glosses. Alright, so let's move on to the full vinyl lip lacquers that I purchased. I'm going to go ahead and swatch the At First Sight color first. And this one is like a sheer gold lip gloss. So pretty on its own or layered over something else. I'm just going to go ahead and swatch it here for you. Hopefully you can see that. It has a slight vanilla scent. So there is At First Sight all by itself. I think most people will definitely want to wear it as a lip topper. I like it all on its own. I just feel like it gives my lips just a little bit there. But let's give this Everglades a shot also. This is the one that's black. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe off At First Sight. So I feel like I'm always on the hunt for black lip gloss. I don't know what that's about, but every time I come across one or like a black lipstick that's like kind of sheer, it always is actually purple. It's always like a dark purple. So when I swatched this Everglades shade at the NARS store, it was just very black. If anything, it has, because of the gold sparkles in here, it leaned maybe a little bit green. You know how blacks, really deep blacks can sometimes look green? Sometimes they can look purple. I really like just black or ones that lean kind of green. So this is what Everglades looks like. And there is the lip gloss. So that is just straight up black. And I don't know if you can see like the little bit of like green tint in there. And I suspect that's why it's called the Everglades. So there is one coat of Everglades. Obviously this is not for everyone, but I don't mind a really dark lip every once in a while. So I kind of enjoy this, and I like that gold. I have it on my teeth, and I like that gold kind of sheen over the entire thing. I think that looks fun. But it's so funny. Anytime I put on a really dark lipstick, I feel like the rest of my makeup all of a sudden just looks really, really flat and dull. So I am going to go ahead and put on a little bit more cheek product. I think I'll go ahead and try and find like a really neutral, warm kind of blush. I'll be right back. I'm going to use the blush from this Smashbox Cali Contour face palette and just brush that onto my cheeks here. The texture of these full vinyl lip lacquers, I can't say that they're like overly sticky at all, but they really feel like they're gonna stay put, that they're staying put, that it's not too loose and gonna get messy in any way. It's a really interesting like combo. I also feel like my eyes should be smoked out a little bit more, so I'm gonna go ahead and line my eyes a little bit more with this Galapagos eyeshadow and bring it down a little bit more. All right, so there is my final look. I know this is very different for me, but I do like it. I think experimenting with lip colors is not as much out of my comfort zone as it is like experimenting with eye colors for some reason. I feel like when I do like a really colorful eye look, it's just uncomfortable for me. It's as much as I like really colorful eye looks, like I watch other YouTubers and I'm always so in awe of what they create and what they do and how amazing it looks on their eyes. I feel like for me, I just look like, I don't know, that I got into like a box of crayons when I was like 6 years old. Like it just looks kind of crazy on me. But lip colors for some reason, I'm okay with. I'm okay with like a black lip. It also makes my teeth look super white. I think that's my favorite thing about dark lipsticks. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions down below in the comments section. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe before you leave if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.